o'clock. We're going to get this meeting started for July 20th, 2022, regular board meeting being conducted pursuant to California Government Code Section 54953B concerning teleconferencing of meetings. Board member Dr. Victoria Ruffin is participating in the meeting by teleconferencing from 4631 East Avenue S in Palmdale, California. Board member Amanda Perrell is participating in this meeting by teleconferencing from 7163 Prestonburg Drive in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And board member John Rush is participating in this meeting by teleconferencing from 100 North Stigman Way, well, whatever, Stierman, in Eagle, Iowa. I mean, it's going to be one of those meetings in Eagle, Idaho. These locations have been identified on the meeting agenda. The meeting is being recorded and all actions will be taken by roll call vote. So here we are at roll call vote. I would like to ask Ms. Perrell, Dr. Ruffin, and Mr. Rush to respond to the following questions. Are you able to hear our proceedings on your end, Ms. Perrell?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Rush.
Yes.
Next question is, do you have a copy of the agenda for your meeting, for this meeting, Ms. Perrell?
Yes.
Dr. Ruffin
Yes.
and Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Okay, the next question, has the agenda been posted at your location, Ms. Perrell?
Yes.
Dr. Ruffin
Yes.
and Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Is your location such that any member of the public could participate in the public portions of this teleconference meeting from your location, Ms. Perrell?
Yes.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Members of the board, are you able to hear Ms. Perrell, Dr. Ruffin, and Mr. Rush? Ms. McGrady?
Yes.
And I can hear them perfectly well as well. Thank you. Okay, item 2, closed session. Public business from the floor, closed session agenda items. Do we have any comments?
We do not have any comments for closed session.
Thank you, Rachel. So we are going to adjourn to closed session and reconvene the regular meeting at 10 a.m. Thank you, everybody. Okay, just, a note to everyone, we did not have a quorum in closed session and therefore no action was taken. We are going to reconvene the regular meeting. Good morning, everybody. I would like to announce that the July 20th, 2022 regular board meeting is being conducted pursuant to California Government Code Section 54953B concerning teleconferencing of meetings. Board meeting member Dr. Victoria Ruffin is participating in this meeting by teleconferencing from 4631 East Avenue S in Palmdale, California. Board member Amanda Perrell is participating in this meeting by teleconferencing from 7163 Prestonburg Drive in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And board member John Rush is participating in this meeting by teleconferencing from 100 North Stigman Way in Eagle, Idaho. This location, these locations have been identified on the meeting agenda, and the meeting is being recorded all actions will be taken by roll call vote. Anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via the Antelope Valley Union High School District's YouTube channel. Individuals may take photographs of or record meetings, providing the individual is conducting him or herself, and it does not constitute a disruption, including obstructing view of others. Those wishing to address items on the agenda and matters that are not on the agenda, but within the jurisdiction of the Antelope Valley Union High School District Board, shall do so in person upon completing a speaker card. I will call the individual's name, or actually Rachel will call the individual's name to come up to the podium to provide their comments. Individual speakers are invited to speak for 3 minutes each and for a total time of 20 minutes per topic. Non-agendized items are limited to a total time of 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish their time or allotment to another speaker. The district encourages members of the public to address the board and to attend our board meetings concerning any item on the agenda or within the board's jurisdiction. The board does not prohibit public comment of its public procedures or programs, services, acts, or admissions. Similarly, the board does not prohibit public criticism of district employees. Speakers are cautioned that no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments, simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. Attendees are also reminded of the board civility policy, Board Policy 1313. This civility policy requires that members of the district staff will treat parents and members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. The district is committed to maintaining disruption-free board meetings. The board will not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of board meetings and persistent disruption by an individual or group or groups are ground for termination of the privilege to speak. The district promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among district board members, district employees, parents, and the public. The district seeks public cooperation with this endeavor. Item B is a roll call. Excuse me. I would like to ask Ms. Perrell, Dr. Ruff, and Mr. Rush to respond to the following questions. Question number 1, are you able to hear our proceedings on your end? Ms. Perrell.
Yes.
Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Mr. Rush.
Yes.
Item 2, do you have a copy of the agenda for this meeting? Ms. Perrell.
Yes.
Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Mr. Rush.
Yes.
Question number 3, the agenda, has it been posted at your meeting location? Ms. Perrell.
Yes.
Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Mr. Rush.
Yes.
The next question, is your location such that a member of the public could participate in the public portion of this teleconference meeting from your location? Ms. Perrell.
Yes.
Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Mr. Rush.
Yes.
Okay, this next question is for Ms. McGrady and myself. Members of the board, are you able to hear Ms. Perrell, Dr. Ruffin, and Mr. Rush? Ms. McGrady?
Yes.
And I am able to hear them quite well as well. The next item is a pledge of allegiance. So if you will all please stand and place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. When I first got on the board, we had a board member who always liked to have the national anthem sung. But I'm not going to do that because I can't sing, so you don't want to hear that. Item 4, we're going to move on to our Pinto meeting. Do we have any public comments, Rachel, on the Pinto meeting?
We have no comments on Pinto items.
Okay, so then we'll just jump into item B, approval, assignment under Pinto RFP 06/21-22 and Pinto RFP 09/20-21. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve food services requests to participate under the Pinto agreement as listed. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Jill McGrady, second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the question. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and the motion passes 5-0. Item C, approval, secondary award of non-food paper and packaging supplies to individual food services under RFP 06/21-22. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees authorize Pinto to move forward in extending this agreement option. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
A motion by Jill McGrady and a second by Amanda Perrell. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and so the motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Item D, purchase order schedule for Pinto. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and authorize the purchases outlined on the attached schedule. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady, a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Abstain.
Okay. Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
And Ms. Nguyen is an aye. So the motion passes by a vote of 4 yeses to 1 abstain. Item 5, we're going to reconvene the meeting, our regular board meeting, and move right straight into item 6, recognition, reports, public comments. Item A, quarterly Williams complaints report summarizes January 2022 to June 2022. Ms. Williams.
Yes, good morning, Board of Trustees. We did receive one complaint during this time period regarding bathroom facilities at Highland High School, and that issue has since been resolved.
Thank you. Board officer report from Ms. Nguyen. Both Laxta and Antelope Valley School Board Association meetings are dark. In the month of July, the June meeting for Laxta was basically thank you and awards to different participating directors. And they will reconvene in the fall with a new president. And the Antelope Valley School Board Association, just a quick reminder, although I'll give you a more detailed reminder in August, but September is the annual educational conference, which will be held at Lancaster High School. Item C, Antelope Valley School Transportation, Mr. Hawkins.
Hi, good morning. They're just working on summer school transportation right now and recruiting for drivers.
Have we heard anything about that bill that would require us to bus students within a mile?
It was in the budget and it's identified in the budget trailer. There's a little bit of ambiguity there that they'll have to work out, but what you're referring to is primarily for K-6 students.
Oh,
It would not affect our 9-12.
oh, really? Okay,
It's actually TK to 3
okay.
for the busing within the mile, a half mile, I believe.
Hmm.
But that doesn't affect our district.
Okay, thank you. Do we have comments from AVTA? We do. Mr. Cronister.
Good morning. Can everybody hear? Oh, there it is. Okay. Hi, good morning, President Danita Nguyen, board members, cabinet, everyone here in the audience. I'm Jason Cronister, Vice President of Communications of the Antelope Valley Teachers Association. AVTA looks forward to this school year for all of our members, as well as our new members at new teacher orientation coming up in August. Also, AVTA appreciates the good faith and bargaining we've had so far with the district. We're ready to continue what we feel has been a very productive bargaining process, and we look forward to that. Change has been the constant lately of everything that's been going on with the new start times, the movement throughout the district, LA County safety measures. And we just look forward to working together with the district and giving the teachers the resources needed to educate our students. Pretty much that's it. Finally, with what's left of your summer break, enjoy your vacation and your time off. And we're very excited for the new school year and look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I can go. Yeah.
Okay, item E is from CSEA, Karen White.
Good morning. Since I didn't really have enough time to really build a speech to you today, you're not going to hear that kind of a canned speech. But I want to let you know that, our year has pretty well come to a close, which is scary because our days really are numbered now. And because school's going to be starting in August 1st, as far as our members returning, classified and teachers, all coming back just before our students begin. And at this point in time, it just seems like we were in the same position for the school year 21-22. And we're already back to now a new school year. And it's like, I don't know where that year evaporated to, but it definitely flew by, even though we thought it was going to be dragging. But a lot to look forward to as our kids return to school and they're more acclimated to getting back into the groove. We're in COVID, and that's good. We will probably get them where they do look forward to coming to school and all the activities and everything that we had lost in the COVID years. I met with several new members this morning, and I know that the district has been very diligent in working towards filling the positions that so many vacancies had been created from people that have retired. And I know that That's not an easy job to do because we did see volumes of vacancies this year, not only in classified, but also certificated. So we appreciate the diligence in trying to get those positions filled so that when we start, we're going to be fully staffed. And we also want to congratulate the Palmdale Solar Cars with their competitions in Fort Worth. I know that we're looking forward to seeing the trophies that they'll be bringing back. It sounds like they've had a wonderful time. They've made great progress, even being absent a couple of years with not being able to go because of COVID. But it sounds like they definitely made sure that those people realized they didn't have competition those 2 years. They did this year. And I want to also thank Julie Drake for the Antelope Valley Press for making sure that she brought that kind of information to us, since we couldn't be there to, encourage them and show our support. She definitely kept us apprised of everything that was going on there and what kind of accomplishments they were achieving. We right now have not started negotiations. We've had a busy summer on a lot of fronts, and we are working on some dates to start negotiations. The only other thing that I'd like to say that our bump in the road really doesn't seem like it's really a bump in the road. It really felt like it was more of iceberg shards that had come up instead of a bump. I'm concerned that with those, global warming may not be enough to melt some of that. I do hope that the district will consider what they did. We appreciate you having Juneteenth given to all district employees for that day off with pay. But in the meantime, we would appreciate it if you would still consider what the legislature for the state of California has already started to implement, and that is putting Juneteenth in Ed Code and follow our contract. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are now to item F, which is public comments from the floor on agendized items. And I just want to make note, since I was off the board for 5 years, I took a look at past practices as far as comments from the community. And it seems as though the biggest change was Mr. Bob Smith had, Bob Davis had decided to have the comments at the end of the meeting, but they've always been 3 minutes and a 20-minute total per topic. So I don't want to move the comments to the end of the meeting. I think that's maybe possibly inconvenient for our community members, but the 3-minute time total and 20-minute for each subject is apparently something that the district has stuck with. So I think we should continue that. Rachel, do we have any comments?
Yes, we do. Thank you. No, this one's agenda. So we can go on non-agenda. We have 2 items for Pinto, and we've already passed those items, so I'm just letting the board know if they want to hear those 2 items from Pinto.
Sure, yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
Sorry that they're late, but
Okay, so I have Alicia Fernandez.
Good morning. Sorry we're late. We just got wrong directions from Google. That was another thing that you should look into it. Anyways, my name is Elisa Fernandez. I have a student in Little Rock High School. She's not my first one. She will be my third high school since 2015 that my son graduated. I know the ropes, and I'm asking about the food. I've been asking about the food. Not here, but like everybody knows the rules. You start at the school, you start at the cafeteria, and then work your way out. And in all these 10 years that has been passed since my oldest 25-year-old son, nothing has changed. And my daughter is 16. She doesn't eat lunch at high school. She takes home homemade burritos, homemade sandwiches, Cheetos. You know that those are not healthy, but she would rather have Cheetos or Takis than eating at a cafeteria. The only thing that she will eat will be fruit, because fruit is healthy at that moment, that is fresh. She doesn't like the mushy vegetables that she gets, or unflavored burritos that they serve, or that not well done or cooked meat that she gets, or still frozen meat that she gets. Unfortunately, that's what they're eating. And I'm asking you, have you tried it? Have you, any of your children have tried it, or your grandchildren? Were you willing to go and try it with us? I never heard in those 10 years that I've been in the district asking us as parents, come and try it, see what we can add or remove. I heard it once in elementary that they took 6 children to go try the food, because that's who they eat it, the kids eat the food. So 3 other kids that they went, I knew. And they're like, they just gave us certain things and just to put a check mark on it. But at the end, it's not what they picked because I asked. So mija, so at the end, when you pick all those vegetables, all the food, did you get all the items? She's like, no. It's totally different what we tasted from what they really actually brought into the lunch cafeteria.
30 seconds.
Do I have only 30 seconds? Okay. So I'm asking, just encouraging you, try it. Go to the cafeteria. Any day in particular, don't let them know that you're going, because you might get better food when you let them know that you're going. Go ahead and try it and tell me if you eat that or you give that to your children or grandchildren. Thank you.
Susie Calderon.
All right. So this is about the Pinto, right, section. So my name is Susie Calderon. Thank you all for being here, audience. And also thank you for the latest free bus services that we're getting to your district here. We understand in Juniper Hills, we're not able to get free transportation services for our kids, so I really appreciate that. I want to start on a positive note. However, in the last several months, I have heard and received anecdotal information from students and parents alike, family, friends, neighbors, that the food at Little Rock High School is gross, left behind bathroom stalls. Students simply do not prefer to eat that. And they say things like, I just don't want to wait in line for that. They prefer to have breakfast at home or no breakfast at all, depending on their economic standing, and then skip lunch at school. Then when they arrive at 3 p.m. from school or after school programs, they eat maybe until dinner time. So this begs the questions, how many students actually eat meals sold on school? Or given at school? Do you conduct food service surveys? Why are students choosing alternatives to meals provided for, like, say, as Melissa Fernandez was just saying, other alternatives, right? Like bringing home different kinds of food from home, and maybe ice cream trucks, students selling small snacks in the sort, or maybe trading and bartering different snacks. Have any of the board members here tasted the food at any respective schools? Would you be willing to taste the school meals to measure the quality and taste? Why does a student or parent need to be worried about this? When, in fact, there's an approval for $750,000 awarded to Cisco Foods. Can the board then make Pinko or Cisco Foods implement a student food satisfaction survey to guarantee that students are actually satisfied and benefiting from the food services? More specifically, some students prefer home cooked meals, as I was saying, and they've been actually seen waiting in line for long periods of time, and then in fact say, you know what, the lunch line is just not worth it. So that's pretty much what I have to say about Pinko, and what includes, of course, the Cisco Food Services. And again, looking to see what you're willing to do about this and giving it a little bit more thought, as Elisa Fernandez was also saying. So pretty much that's it for the Pinko services. Thank you for letting me share.
Mr. Nehan, can we, or can you actually speak with Mr. Cook and about the issue?
I'll apprise them of these notes and we'll follow up.
Thank you.
I have 5 speakers on 9A, so I'm going to call individually up. Sarah Lucero.
Is there a timer available? Is it possible to see the timer on the screen?
30 seconds.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Lucero, and I am a legal intern at Disability Rights California and a student at Loyola Law School. Today, I would like to address the Office of Inspector General's report regarding the racial disparities in contact with students by the Sheriff's Department's Lancaster Station. This report detailed the findings of the OIG's independent investigation into the racial disparities in Lancaster. The report found that Black students accounted for 67% of police contacts in the district, while making up only 17% of the district's total population. Moreover, Black students were more likely to experience harsher punishments resulting from these contacts. These findings are particularly egregious when paired with the fact that students with disabilities are 3 times more likely to be referred to police in comparison to their non-disabled peers. Schools should be a place designed for safety and learning for students to grow, but instead, this report details an environment much more punitive than protective, with students experiencing police contact, including backseat detention, having firearms pointed at them, and invasive personal searches. Regardless of whether these contacts were sheriff-initiated or district-initiated, the district remains a root cause of the disproportionality that Black students and students with disabilities face. The district must comply with Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, which prohibits districts from contracting with or providing significant aid to any agency that discriminates against students with disabilities. Yet the district continues to have a $1.7 million contract with the Sheriff's Department. Further, according to the Office of Civil Rights updated guidance on discipline, which was just released yesterday, a school's requirement not to discriminate against students extends to the conduct of everyone with whom the school has a contractual or other agreement, such as school district police officers and school resource officers. Therefore, any contract that the district has that perpetuates discrimination against students with disabilities is out of compliance with these regulations. As the report states, all stakeholders in Lancaster must appreciate that law enforcement contacts have a serious and life-altering effect on children. Instead of contracting with and empowering the discriminatory actions of the Sheriff's Department, the district should employ OCR recommended strategies such as de-escalation and removing distractions and providing time and space to calm the situation. But most importantly, the district should remember that it is a reasonable accommodation to have a person other than the school-based law enforcement officer to communicate with the child and support them in de-escalating situations, such as staff members with whom the student trusts. I hope the district takes this into consideration. Thank you.
Rachel, before we go to the next speaker, 2 things. I noticed that we don't have the time doesn't show up on my screen. Does it show up for the speakers so they have an idea of when they're when they're getting close to the end of their time.
We can adjust that.
Okay, I think it would be convenient. And then secondly, I did not read a paragraph that I need to read, indicating that the public is invited to address the board on any agenda item. Individual speakers are limited to the 3 minutes for each speaker, with the total time of public input on each item shall be limited to 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotment to another speaker. During public comments, the board listens to concerns and issues. The board may have questions, for purposes of clarification. The law prohibits the board from entering into a dialogue with the speaker or taking action on items not on the agenda. I always want to make sure I read that because a lot of people don't understand why we don't comment, but we're prohibited by law not to. So do we have, you said we had,
Elvira Velasquez.
okay, thank you.
My name is Elvira Velasquez. I am a legal support staff at Disability Rights California in the Youth Practice Group, where we focus on advocating for students' rights. I'm here today to urge the board to reconsider the funds spent on school law enforcement services and instead invest those funds in their students by funding programs and resources that will help youth thrive and reduce justice system involvement. Schools want us to believe that SROs enhance school safety and security, or that SROs help support schools in their efforts to improve student well-being and enhance academic achievement. However, the Office of Inspector General report published on June 15, 2022 show us alarming disparate treatment of Black students by the Sheriff's Department deputies and school administrators. And I quote from the OIG report: Black students in high school patrolled by Lancaster Station's deputies were contacted by law enforcement, issued citations, subject to arrest, suspended, and expelled at a disproportionately higher rates than other racial groups. Sheriff's Department representatives stated that the vast majority of deputy contacts on high school campuses were based on referrals from school staff and administrators and not self-initiated by the deputies. However, the OIG found that the majority of school contacts were self-initiated by deputies. But this does not mean that the district is off the hook. The school's district contacts with the Sheriff Department is the root of this problem and makes it legally responsible for any discrimination by the sheriff. Anyway, since I only have 3 minutes and time is running out, I invite you to read the OIG report so together we can advocate on behalf of our students for a safer system that will actually help students thrive in their academics. School administrators and SROs have demonstrated a lack of support for the well-being of students and enhancing their academic achievement. SROs do not make education settings feel safe or comfortable to learn. SROs should not be using excessive force on students and most definitely not point firearms at students unless they are active shooters. But as recent events have shown us, it is then when law enforcement forgets to protect and serve. Thank you.
Andrew Marmer.
Andrew Marmer. I'm a law student at UC Berkeley and a summer clerk at Neighborhood Legal Services of Los Angeles County with their education rights team. Today, I would like to talk about the Office of Inspector General report on racial disparities in contacts with high school students by the Sheriff's Department's Lancaster Station. The report found that school administrators contribute to the racial disparities observed in contacts at school. Comparing in-school contacts to outside of school contacts, the report found that there were more contacts and more racial disparity in contacts at the schools. Quoting from the report, contacts within school are generally limited to school hours on school days, while contacts outside of school can occur at any time, including nights and weekends. Given that the opportunity to contact students during school hours is limited, One might expect in-school contacts would be fewer than outside of school contacts. However, we found the opposite to be true. Over the course of the 2019 to 2020 school year, Black students experienced nearly 100 more contacts in school than out of school. 62% of the contacts with Black students occurred in school. 55% of the contacts with Hispanic students occurred in school. In contrast, only 21% of the contacts with white students occurred in school. The significant gap in these percentages is not a coincidence. Once again, quoting from the Office of Inspector General report. Notably, Black students were contacted by LA Sheriff's Department deputies in school at a much higher rate than they were contacted outside of the school. This disparity suggests that the actions of school administrators may have an effect on the observed racial disparities of in-school contacts by deputies. It is the district's responsibility to ensure that its students do not experience discrimination at school. The Office of Inspector General report indicates not only that the district is failing to prevent discrimination with regard to law enforcement actions in schools, but that current school policies and practices result in increased discrimination. The public deserves to know how the district will act to correct this problem. Thank you.
Xinyan Feng.
My name is Xingyang Fan, and I'm a legal intern at Disability Rights California and a law student at Pepperdine Law School. I am speaking today also to bring attention to the Office of Inspector General's report and to encourage the district to end its contract with LA Sheriff's Department. The OIG report reveals that sheriff deputies are targeting Black students on campus at shocking rates. The numbers are alarming, so I will re-emphasize them here. The deputies contacted nearly 400 students on campus during the 2019 to 2020 school year. While Black students comprise only 17.9% of students in Antelope Valley, they were 67.1% of the 400 students contacted by deputies on campus. The district is legally responsible for these horrifying racial disparities. Under Government Code Section 11135, the district may not discriminate against students based on their race. The regulations prohibit disparate impact discrimination like that here, where Black students are targeted for punishment at rates far higher than their peers. The regulation also makes clear that the district is not off the hook simply because the sheriff deputies are the ones interacting with the students. On the contrary, the regulations state that it is illegal for the district to aid or perpetuate discrimination by transferring state support to another recipient that discriminates. Here, the district and its board transfer state support $1.7 million per year to the Sheriff's Department. As detailed in the OIG report, the Sheriff's Department has engaged in serious and persistent race discrimination against Black students. The district cannot continue to place its face and its pocketbook in the hands of a Sheriff's Department that body slammed a Black 16-year-old student with disabilities because she refused to hand over her personal cell phone to the deputy. That targets Black students at up to 4 times their representation on campus, derails them for academic success, and entraps them in the juvenile legal system. So long as the district and its board continue to contract with the Sheriff's Department, it is making itself legally responsible for any deputy discrimination during every single one of the over 400 contacts on campus each year. Removing the deputies from the campus is the right choice to protect student safety.
30 seconds.
The district may feel that deputies are necessary on campus to respond to unsafe situations, but they are not responding to them. They are creating them. Interactions with armed deputies, including where deputies pull firearms on students, tackle them, and detain them in the back of patrol cars, can leave students traumatized and cause lasting physical and emotional injuries. We urge the district to cut ties with the Sheriff's Department to create true safety on campus. Thank you.
Hal Steinberg.
So I don't have anything really to add to what's already been said in terms of the documentation of what we have been continuing to speak about for 2 years now. But I do want to speak to the continuing thing that I speak about at most every board meeting, and that is accountability and oversight. So recently, as you know, the Board of Supervisors passed a resolution that provides more oversight of county school districts in building contracts with sheriff's departments. It was deeply disturbing to find out that the city decided to do a roundabout way of going through this when on the agenda today, you have a contract with the city of Lancaster to provide deputies during summer school. This seems to be completely out of touch with the letter, with the spirit of the resolution that was passed by the county. Why you're deciding to have a contract with the city through their own contract with the sheriff's department instead of waiting to do the full contract is beyond me. I'm sure you're going to give me some explanations as to why that happened, but I think it goes to the issue of accountability and oversight. The reason that this oversight was created was so that things like this would not happen, that you would just slip by different resolutions. So there's that issue. A second issue I wanted to bring up is that on the agenda, you have for 8A, a contract with Collaborative Learning Solutions. This is a contract that will create the MTSS system, as far as I understand, and what you want to do with them for the entire district. What I find deeply disturbing about this is that this is a company that did the school safety survey last year. That survey was done over 3 months. It did not include stakeholders from across this district. And the study survey was not adequate to show what people in this district actually believe. It was directed solely at people who wanted to fill it out, which are people who are gonna say that they need safety because they're afraid of their students. And let's be honest about that. There is no existing MTSS system, which shows that teachers and others in this district have not been adequately educated on what it means to actually deal with discipline issues on different levels. And so all you end up doing is having the sheriffs respond. And that is clear in the OIG report. The problem with contracting with this company, again, is that the survey that you did that was problematic, and now all of a sudden you want to have them create the entire system. So I would be curious to know how you found this company in the first place, but we can talk about that at another time. So thank you so much and have a good rest of your day.
If I may, Ms. Nguyen, if I may just add for some clarification, there is a item on the agenda, an MOU with the city of Lancaster for sheriff's support during summer school. That was agreed to because the County Board of Supervisors had not made their decisions yet on the sheriff's contract. The sheriff's contract is a 180-day contract. That is on the agenda as well tonight. However, we felt it necessary to provide safety sheriffs on campuses during summer school for safety. That's why a MOU was developed with the city of Lancaster, primarily due to the fact that the County Board of Supervisors had yet to take action on the sheriff's contract.
For summer school mostly. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Neal. I believe the gentleman had another question. Maybe somebody can go over that with him.
Ms. Williams, you want to address CLS?
Sure. We began working with Collaborative Learning Solutions about 4 years ago with them assisting us with our work around disproportionality. And this work led us to collaborating with their team to further assist us with developing our multi-tiered systems of support framework in the areas of academic, behavioral, and social emotional supports, which provides us an opportunity to develop a structure from a 3-tiered support and to address the needs of our students from a whole child approach. They've had extensive experience working with many districts across the state of California and also the nation to develop these structures and supports that are tailored to the unique needs of each school district and organization. Over the next 3 years, and this is the agreement for your consideration today, We will be working with CLS to further develop our MTSS and equity framework through a whole child lens. That includes addressing academics, behavioral, and social emotional supports. And our focus area this year will be to develop our district Tier 1 supports to address the needs of our students in all of these areas.
So have you found them to be accurate and truthful and honest in their approach?
Absolutely, we have, and have had a successful partnership with them up until now, yes.
Thank you.
Excuse me, this is Dr. Ruffin. Since there's discussion going on about this, thank you so much, Ms. Williams, for that information. And I know that that is item 8A that we will be discussing. I mean, with all due respect, the data is the data, the numbers are the numbers. And if all of these things have been in place and beneficial for our students, the data would not show what it's actually showing, these large discrepancies. I mean, it's very apparent that we need to shift and do something different, but I'm quite sure we'll get more into this as we discuss under the actual item. But just trying to pacify, the community and our constituents with saying what we have, I think it's more beneficial to show how what we have is actually connecting the dots to shift the narrative and not continue the status quo. And I'll stop here until we get to the actual agenda item.
Okay, Rachel, do we have another speaker?
Yeah, we have 6 speakers for 9B. Sarah Lucero. So I had the last 5 speakers were speaking on 9B as well. Are you guys done with your comments okay. Vivian.
And this is pertaining to item
9B.
9E.
B as in boy.
Oh, 9, thank you.
Hello to Dr. Ruffin, Ms. Orozco, Ms. Ramos, my student services lady over there. Let me get right to the point. I am so happy to be here today. I'm so happy to look at the color rainbow sitting over here with these neighborhood legal services and these young, astute, white, Black, Spanish, Asian, all these individuals that when we came to the district to get help from you all, none of you helped. None of you but Dr. Ruffin. Poor Perel tried to, but you made sure she wouldn't do anything to help because a coach from Highland called the kids a nigger and you let him still work. You had 2 other teachers from your district sit here and try to sue me for $20,000. And Dr. Ruffin and Bob Davis both pointed out when they had supposedly a Black attorney that your whole panel couldn't stand because he was getting paid. What is Mr. Furno getting paid for? When they found out that all the things that these young people are speaking about the disparities, about the things that you do in this district, you don't care. What did you take your pledge for to sit up on this board? You're not up here doing nothing for no damn kids. You're up here filling your pockets and you're sitting up in here looking funny and stupid when you talk about civility. You 2 clowns have sat up and had yourselves at schools protesting with big old target practice pictures of Bob Davis.
Excuse me, what item are you talking about?
I'm talking about whatever I am about the doggone sheriffs that are in here that you guys have allowed to sit here and do what they've been doing in this district. 9A, 9A, 9, is that okay, Ms. Is that okay?
At this point
Please stop my
in our
time.
agenda, you have to stick to the item that's
Well, the
on
item is all
agenda.
that. It's because of the sheriffs. You all are sitting here acting like you don't give no accountability to the fact that you don't say nothing when they do wrong and you're employing them. You got security guards at these schools, at Highland and the rest of them that are great security people. Why don't you pay them to get training? Why don't you help them to do something? You fill in the pockets of sheriffs that are sitting here, that's been in here 2013 with a DOJ sitting up here talking about the wrongs that they have done to the community when people were on Section 8. You know, the brown and Black kids and everything else that was going on. So the sheriffs have been doing what they've been doing for a long time. The DOJ's been here forever. And you know it, you sit up here on this board acting like you're gonna run and help the students. You're filling your pockets. You're not helping the students. You got parents and teachers talking about food. I happen to say Mr. Cooks is a great guy. I'm sure if he get pointed out the things that he needs to do about the school district stuff, maybe you could take some of the money from the sheriffs and pay for some great food. You don't care. You're sitting up in here thinking it's funny. But the thing about it is you're talking about civility. And some of you have ran up here and got your positions and you're sitting here making money. Take some of your money out of your pockets and help some of these students out here because you know it's true. You don't care. You sit up and let all these types of people get away with it.
30
Why aren't you
seconds.
firing people the same way you Baldy should be firing people? You are the root of the problem and you know that you are. But you want to sit here and act like Dr. Ruff and say, pacify the parents and stuff. You don't even have half the parents here at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's because you guys planned that a few years ago when you were so mad at Dr. Ruffin pointing out all your wrongs. And when Dr. and Mr. Bob, when they pointed out how you treat these kids in this neighborhood, Blacks have disproportionately always been treated bad. And you don't mind because you're making money when they come to school.
Time.
I'd like to remind people that at this point on our agenda is comments from the audience on agendized items. And if you don't have a comment necessarily on the agenda item, then the non-agendized item is the spot for speaker. I'm sorry, I can point of clarification. I can make a clarification. Who is our next name?
That concludes all of the agendized items for
Oh.
today.
Okay. Then we are going to move on to non-agendized items, which is item G. Do we have any speakers?
Yes, we have 5 speakers.
Okay, before you call anyone, I do have a piece that I need to read. The public is invited to address the board on any matter not on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the board. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and the total time of input shall be limited to 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotment to another speaker. During public comments, the board listens to comments and issues. The board may ask questions for purposes of clarification. And the law, however, prohibits the board from engaging into a dialogue with the public or taking action on any item that is not listed on the agenda, on today's agenda. So our first speaker.
Hal Steinberg.
I'm sorry, how many people did you say total?
We have 5.
Okay.
So I don't really have much more to add, but I just want to comment on what just happened. We talk about civility. We talk about a dialogue. You promulgate rules and say these are the rules that we have to follow. And then you yourself violate those rules by speaking to the person. So this is the problem that we face all the time in this district, is that what is said is not followed through on. And the community has a reason to be concerned about these issues, whether it's motivated because you want to make more money at it, because we know education, is a profit maker. I'm not necessarily accusing you of that, but I do think that these are legitimate issues that need to be looked at. And the community is concerned. We have been repeatedly coming to you about this. Nothing changes. Yes, we can say that's the democratic process and you're elected officials and you serve who your constituents are. But in a school board position, you would hope at least that your constituents would be every student in this district, every family member in this district, whether you're white, whether you're a person of color. But has routinely, and in the OIG report proved, and has been in evidence for a long time, that's not happening when you have sheriffs on campus, when you contract with companies that are doing the work. I'm not saying that, Collaborative Learning Solutions just decided to pull up one day and start their company. No, obviously they have experience in this field, but there are also different understandings of what equity means to different folks. Collaborative Learning Solutions seems to have a somewhat diverse workforce. I'll say the organization that you're also contracting with to have, I think it's a one-time 2-day training on restorative justice practices, seems like a legitimate company in Pennsylvania, an institute that's been around for a number of years. But once again, restorative justice has multiple meanings. So sit down with the stakeholders actually in this district, not just the people who you hire, not just the equity director, but the actual stakeholders, community members, parents, students. We have multiple students here who are going to do a presentation, are going to show you an art piece that they created in response to the sheriff's contract. These are the types of things that you need to be paying attention to as board members. That's why I can continue to come up here, because I think it's an important conversation that needs to be had. So thank you so much. Have a good day.
Raquel Derfler.
She will make sure we.
And also we have the statistics, same thing for all of you.
Thank you.
I'm here again. My name is Raquel Derfler, and I am a member of the community. So I am speaking to this OIG report. I've given it to you so you know that it is something that is legitimate, something real, and you can no longer claim ignorance of the data and the facts. So please read it. I am going to be quoting from that, reading it now so that our public can also hear it, community. On September 29th, 2021, the ProPublica investigative journalist website in partnership with KPCC LAist published an article entitled "Racial Justice in a California Desert, Sheriff's Deputies Settle Schoolyard Disputes, Black Teens Bear the Brunt." The article highlighted the incident involving 16-year-old Michaela Robinson, as earlier reported, as an example of the disparate treatment of Black students. In response to the ProPublica article, the Office of Inspector General conducted an independent review of the disparate treatment cited by ProPublica's reporting. Our analysis of data from the 2019-2020 school year indicates Black students in high schools patrolled by Lancaster Station deputies were contacted by law enforcement, issued citation, subjected to arrest, suspended, and expelled at disproportionately higher rates than other racial groups. For example, in the 2019-2020 school year, Black high school age youth made up only 17.9% of total student enrollment, but they comprise 66% of contacts made by Lancaster Station deputies. These findings are especially troubling, given that in 2013, the U.S. Department of Justice found the Sheriff's Department, Lancaster and Palmdale stations had engaged in a pattern and practice of conducting stops, searches, and seizures that were unreasonable and in violation of the Constitution and federal law. This resulted in a federal settlement agreement mandating Sheriff's Department reforms, as well as oversight by a federal monitor. 7 years later, data from 2019-2020 shows Black people account for 14.3% of all contacts by Lancaster Sheriff deputies, while making up only 20.5% of the population of Lancaster. So it's up to you as a board to decide what you're going to do in response to this data.
30 seconds.
Okay? But you can no longer use ignorance as an excuse to not act. Thank you.
Just a point of clarification, the information that you provided will be made available to those board members who are not physically present today.
Ms. Wynn, point of clarification, I believe all the board members already have this information. It's not new. It came out like over a month ago.
Oh, you already have it, Dr. Ruffin?
I think it was sent to all of us. I do believe that it was sent to all of us when it came out. I believe I got it through through the district. It was disseminated to the board members.
Okay.
That, you know what, I was just wondering myself, why the people here in the audience have to provide something that you all should be aware of all of a sudden. It seems so funny that you don't have it and Dr. Ruffin does, because normally in the past with Dr. Rivera and the rest of the folks, it's always like she gets her stuff last. But you all are sitting here like you don't have a clue, clueless, as usual, on what's really going on with this town. Let's make sure that we know why that 2013 happened about the sheriffs and everything about it between Section 8 and, hate to say it, you know, Rex Paris had mentioned something about not having Section 8 people here, and they found out all the different type of law enforcement people that were involved with trying to make sure that they didn't do right by the community, and that's why they're out here somewhat. But it's just like, you know, people discriminate for all kind of reasons, but nobody really want to say what's going on. So I'm learning about these stakeholder situations and the rest of the stuff that's going on. It's kind of amazing who maybe they are. I'd like to get a copy of who the board of directors and everything is that you guys get these funds from, because you all aren't the ones really running this and you know it. But the funny thing about it is this has like been a clown. Your whole board has been a clown except for the people that really care. And why I say that is because you don't care. It's just like the Uvalde that's going on. You know, the blame is going to get put back on the school district's resource center. Didn't have who they had, and they had over almost 400 people out there in Uvalde. Well, guess what? The same things that can go on in this town that are going on, that has gone on. You've treated the Black and brown kids in this neighborhood so bad, you know that you have. It's just documented, but you like to overlook it and play stupid. And what's really sad is parents coming here, getting help from you, and you guys can't even fire people because of what reason? You had your 2 clowns come after me. You had a teacher to call kids niggas. You got rid of one other teacher that called them niggas. And you sit here still and acting like you're doing some services for this district. What are you doing? Just getting paid? Moving around, moving yourselves like checkers, moving positions and all that stuff. We had Grady as a president. Before you could come back, we now got you back in president. And all you do is sit here and talk about your past and what you've been doing. Are you going to talk to me in a moment and interrupt me to tell me that you were not with with this one here, Grady? Were you not in front of a school, a board, school? Wait, were you not in front of a school protesting and saying who you guys wanted to have to vote on the grounds where you shouldn't? I'm ready for you to talk to me. Were you not there? Because if you don't think so, why don't you go to the court and see what you look like when you say that you weren't? But I bet you won't have that dialogue with me. My whole thing is this. You got people coming here standing up now for what is right for this district. What are you doing? Not a damn thing. You're getting paid to sit here and look as if you're doing something. With all these screenshots and the different things that you say, what kids have you helped that are going through emotional trauma right now? What did you come here to do when you came here? But just like you say, this is a money train, isn't it? To get the money for getting kids to come to the school, but you treat them like dogs. And I'm gonna say it that way because you know that you do. What have you done? When you did an investigation for everybody and the kids at Highland, what did you do for them? Not a damn thing, as you're not doing now.
Alicia Fernandez.
This time, I want to just bring out some concern in Little Rock as well. As you know, I don't know if anyone knows where Little Rock is located. Usually, it's on 110th Street and Avenue R. And as maybe they don't know, but we're in a rural area. We don't live around the corner. I live in Juniper Hills. I need to drive my kid right now as a summer school. They don't provide school bus. It's 15 minutes from where I live. It's a choice, I understand that. But I'm gonna tell you real quick a concern that I have that it happened the first day of school. A day before, or a week before, my daughter told me, Mom, I'm not enrolled. I was sure because I helped her do the application to be enrolled. And then she said, I have an email saying I'm not there. So I called the school and they told me, no, your daughter is in. Just come in on Monday and she'll be in. To my surprise, I dropped my daughter in the morning, and by 9:30, I text her and I go, are you in school? And she's like, no, Mom, they told me to go home. I'm like, wait, what happened? So it was a glitch on the system, supposedly where she's supposed to sign in, but she wasn't in the system. And instead of, oh, here's a computer, all the students sign up again. What she was told from a counselor, 2 counselors only for this many kids. They're not about 1,400 kids regular school year. I don't think summer school was 1,400 kids, but they were sending kids home to apply at home to go back to summer school. So my question is, when I went back and I took my tablet and I signed her up, and I was really upset, I do talk to the counselors, and I said, there's 2 counselors. That was the excuse that they gave me. We have short staff. My question is, what about us? Us as a parent. I'm a volunteer. I teach folklorico as a volunteer, but nobody called me. I need to push myself and try to go and sign up and waiting for them to say me for the fingerprints or for my TB test. Nobody does. Why don't you use that help? If you don't, you're short on staff, the first day, the first week, volunteers, can you help us? Can you
30
bring a
seconds.
tablet? At the school where they're supposed to be in school, where parents drop their kids and think they're safe, they were outside waiting for their parents at 2 o'clock to pick them up. I wasn't very upset because one counselor could be sign them up in one computer. The other one can be getting all the kids or us help. Thank you.
Susie Calderon. So my name is Susie Calderon. I have 2 children at Little Rock. I would like to start by again thanking the board for the free bus transportation from, as you can hear, it's about 15 miles away, 30 miles away to and from. So thank you for that. I'm also here to get updates and so provide some solutions to several issues that were listed on the 2021 SARC report. So when it comes to fully accredited teachers, what is the plan to hire more fully accredited teachers? And when can the public have access to changes so that we are able to compare and contrast the changes that you've made or to try to resolve the problem? In regards to pupil engagement, what is your plan to decrease the high school rate? I'm certain that because of COVID, there were a lot of negative changes. However, dropout rates were high to begin with. And in fact, increased from 8.6 in 2018 and 2019 to 10 in the 2021 school year. Nevertheless, what is your plan? How are we going forward? I see nothing on the SARC 2021 report. There are an estimated 1,500 school students enrolled at Little Rock, but we only have 3 to 5 counselors, according to the SARC 2021 report. LACO has an MOU ready here on your agenda, ready for you to sign, right, when it comes to the mental wellness of school district staff. How about the students? Maybe some parent workshops, right? Let's go in that direction. When will you increase the number of counselors to address the mental health, especially for when it comes to students hit hard by COVID-related issues? Counselors deal with academic, social, behavioral, and career development. That's true, combined. However, we need to have a more robust plan to address mental health by hiring psychiatric social workers or counselors. According to EdSource, there should be at least 1 counselor per 250 students to meet, right, the school counselor ratio. Where are we at with that? Consider the use of local control funding with the nearly reported $20 billion windfall for last year's school budget. Numerous studies have linked student mental wellness with higher test scores, attendance and graduation rates, and fewer suspensions and expulsions. Furthermore, Little Rock placed bottom 50% of all schools in California for overall tests when it comes to math and reading proficiencies. Come on, what are we really doing about that, right? When it comes to the English and math CASP percentages, they're not listed on the SARC due to the COVID-19 pandemics. I understand.
30
However,
seconds.
Little Rock is known for their career technical programs. The books are outdated: Algebra and Trig 2002, Calculus 2008, World of Chemistry 2002, Earth Science 2003. The list goes on. The visual performing arts textbooks goes back to 2000. Come on, what's going on with that? Finally, I'd like to, of course, also include the 20 listed interior repairs Right now, there's no latches on the school bathroom stalls for the boys and girls restrooms. Please fix that. When are we
Aye.
gonna get an affordability, some kind of report? Lastly, just a few more seconds. We need to help the students have less lines in the school. We need to update the campus. It's not 1989 anymore. There are
Aye.
more students to the ratio when it comes to the cafeteria. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Angelique Woods.
Hi, my name is Angelique Woods, and I'm a student and artist with the Freedom Art Squad. And this is our piece called Counter Narrative, responding to the LASD 2022 SRD program review. I really want you to pay attention and read and actually like listen, because a lot of the time you really don't.
Miss Antelope, could you pause 1 second and could you guys afford her time? I'm just interrupting because on our screen we cannot see what you're showing. Is there a way that the tech people can readjust this? I put it in the chat over 20 minutes ago so that we can actually see what she's presenting and who's speaking.
Dr. Ruffin, we can take a picture of what she's presenting and then share that with board members.
That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking to see it while she's doing it. Just less than 30 minutes ago, we were able to see the speakers. Now what I'm seeing is a display of the agenda. What happened with the technology? Can they just go back to angle it so we can see it while she's speaking?
There was a request made to have the timer on the podium computer. In order to do that, we can't have the camera on. So it's up to the board.
Oh, great. Thanks for the clarification. I would prefer them have their time. Thank you. Thank you.
This is, oh, okay.
To be able to see what is being shown, just for this one at least.
Yeah, you can take the timer off, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Comments to make?
No, I just want you to listen.
Okay.
And maybe comprehend what the artwork is speaking out to say.
Okay. Are you done at this point? It's 2 minutes to speak, not 2 minutes to stand at the podium.
Right to speak in any matters.
No, she's not speaking. It's 3 minutes to speak and it's comments. Exactly. It's up to the board. You can either allow her to stand there for the remainder of her time, or you can ask her to speak or step down from the podium.
About the First Amendment should be filed against you, because that's what will come if you don't allow her just to stand up.
Point of clarification, ma'am, just to let you know that it was put on the camera so that board members who were not here are able to see it as well. So I think that they've gotten a chance to see it. And we got a copy, a paper copy as well.
I can read for her as she gives the visual aid. This is her form of communication. Some people are not comfortable speaking in public. Why are you trying to silence the youth voice? And also, it's a bad look for you. Okay?
Time's right.
A bad look for you.
30 seconds.
From what I understand, you can read, no?
So can you. So can you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can wait until the end of her speaking time.
Maddie Myers.
Excuse me just one moment. Madam President, only one speaker is allowed at the podium at one time. The viewing audience and the board have already seen.
Can I stand wherever, but I can stand back here,
You can stand back there. That's great.
All right, got it
It's just-
there.
Ms. Durfler?
Okay, you know what? I think it's time that the board take a break.
Just go.
And it'll be about a 10-minute break. And we will come back and resume our board agenda.
You're quaking in your boots, and you already lost the lawsuit, by the way, when you were intimidated before. So remember that.
Moment to remind attendees of the board, this is the board's meeting to be conducted in public. The board has the right to conduct their meeting without disruptions. Further disruptions could result in the clearance of the boardroom where only staff and press are allowed back in.
Rachel, did you say that we had another person?
Yes,
that
we have one
wanted
more
to speak?
speaker, Maddy Myers.
And community. My name is Madison Myers. I am a recently graduated former student of this district. I'm here today because the district likes to present certain narratives regarding school safety, and the students in this district have different experiences. It's very easy when you're sitting here on a board to make decisions while being removed from the reality of what students experience. And we're here today to reclaim the narrative of student safety and student experiences. So I'd like to draw everyone's attention back to the art piece, which you can see back here and which you should all have a copy of, created by students in this district in response to experiences with sheriffs and police on campus. What students have to say. One of the points that the district presents is that students assist school faculty and administration, and in reality, they instead torment and traumatize students of color on school campuses. One of the claims made is that SROs provide training for school shooting situations. This is also incorrect according to what students experience. They do not feel as if SROs have contributed at all to their safety regarding school shootings or their level of preparation regarding school shootings. Another claim that SROs are called to respond to student incidences for student behavior that is considered unacceptable. They're supposed to investigate the incident and respond accordingly. They do not respond accordingly at all, again, according to student experiences. They're called for minor infractions, use force when it's not necessary. They, again, torment and traumatize students of color. The district, despite what it claims, does take this lightly. You have not acted in a way that is adequate to address any of the situations involving students or student experiences. Again, I would really like to emphasize that this is the tangible reality of what students experience and what they face at the hands of SROs. You can make as many claims as you want regarding what organizations you work with, what policies you implement, but if what students experience does not change, then you have accomplished absolutely nothing. Thank you.
That concludes the comments for non-agendized items.
Thank you. Moving on to item 7, educational services action items. Educational services, Desert Sands Public Charter High School Annual FCMAT Written Report. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees receive the Desert Sands Public Charter High School Annual FCMAT Report. Do we have a speaker on this, or just the
We do
report
not.
that
This is
was-
just the board, this and the next item of the board to receive a report.
Okay. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, I would like to make a comment about this. So I sent my questions in to Mr. Nehan and Ms. Williams in regards to how Desert Sands West and Learn for Life are connected. And what I was given back was that Desert Sands High School is a charter that the district authorizes. And the two locations listed, I specifically referenced page 56, are both authorized to operate under that charter. So I just thought it was really suspicious that we wouldn't really highlight that this was really the renewal of the charter for Learn for Life and Desert Sands High School. That was one comment. The other comment is, you know, we are so traditional with doing things as usual. I'm not even sure if I looked at this report and compared it to last year's report or the last time this charter was renewed, if there's anything that has actually shifted. I don't know if our team actually went out and did a thorough investigation. I know for sure when it came to the I schools, the I-Lead schools, that it was all this disparity, but I'm really thinking about how are we doing business and it being in the best interest of the students and their academic performance as we move forward, and not just continuing to renew contracts just because we can, or maybe because there's some kind of off the wall connection or, you know, vendor feedback. I don't know, but I would really like for, I would really like a better understanding of how these charter schools differed from the I-Lead schools that we declined, because we overwhelmingly supported this school. And it's my understanding that if we're chartering them, that they're also responsible for our LCAP performances, because we have students who don't graduate within 4 years, and those fifth year, 6th year seniors, or those students who are behind, often land in those spaces for credit retrieval. So it's just something for the community to think about. It's something for this board to think about as we're renewing contracts and really looking at how these contracts benefit the students to make sure that they can maximize their success.
Dr. Ruffin, if I could offer just a point of clarification, this is an annual review of their program. This is not a reauthorization of their charter. So this is something that we do on an annual basis with the charters we authorize.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to item B, which is Educational Services Annual Written Report to the Board of Trustees concerning physical education. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees receive the annual written report information concerning physical education. This is a discussion only item. Does anybody have any questions or concerns? Discussion. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 8, which is Student Services Action Item. Item A, Student Services Contract for Services STS-23-02-025, Collaborative Learning Solutions, LLC. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the contract for services STS-23-025 with Collaborative Learning Solutions, LLC. May I have a motion to put this on for discussion?
Second.
I have a motion by Jill McGrady, a second by Amanda Perrell. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Board members, how do you vote? Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Abstain.
Okay. Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and so the motion passes 4 yes with 1 board member abstaining.
Would you just, excuse me for interrupting, but could you review the reasons that we can abstain?
Yeah, board members can abstain if there's a conflict of interest or if they believe they don't have enough information to vote on a matter.
Thank you.
Item B, 2022-23 non-public school master contract STS-23-038 through STS-23-044. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve agreement for non-public, non-sectarian school agency services master contract number STS-23-038 through STS-23-044, in addition to associated individual service agreement for non-public school placement as non-reelect during the 22-23 school year. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady, a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion? Questions, concerns? Hearing none. We'll call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and so the motion passes by a vote of 5-0, 5 yes to 0. Noes. Number 9, personnel service action item, item A. Memorandum of Understanding, PS number 2022-23-05, City of Lancaster. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the Memorandum of Understanding, PS number 2022-23-05, with the City of Lancaster. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady and a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion? Comments, concerns? Hearing none. I'll call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
No.
Okay. Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and so the motion passes by a vote of 4 yeses to 1 no. Item B, Los Angeles Sheriff Department School Resource Deputy Program, PS number 2022-23-01. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the agreement, PS number 2022-23-01, with Los Angeles Sheriff Department School Resource Deputy Program as presented. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. McGrady and a second by Mr. Rush. Any discussion?
Yes, Ms. Nguyen, there is some discussion here. I could sit here and recite everything that every last one of the speakers doing agendized and non-agendized items spoke about in regards to the disparities and the overrepresentation of Black kids in their dealings in the inner schoolhouse space with our RSOs. But I will bring this to the attention. Is not $1.7 million that the district is allocating in here. It is 1.9 million plus. In addition, I'm not sure how the district goes about making this decision, but when I asked this question of Mr. Nehan, I asked, what is the difference with the current LASD school deputy contract and the previous one? And the response back to me was there are no operable changes to the proposed agreement. The most notable changes is the language in section 1, scope of services. The changes in language allow the LASD and the district to work together to set times and dates of operations, which is interesting because if you look at the dates and operations that's in this contract, it's from 7 to 3 o'clock. And I do believe that some of the union people, in addition to information that's been going on for the past 2 months in our district in the state, has talked about the shifts in times. So that doesn't make any sense. The other thing is half of our schools are in the city of Lancaster. The other half of our high schools are in the city of Palmdale. there is no thought about how to merge the two communities, even if there was an agreement to have law enforcement. I'm really concerned about the dealings and why are we choosing to deal solely with this contract with Lancaster. Just as a resident in the community in this Antelope Valley, some of the things I sit back and look at, you know, it was in the paper about the building that we just sold. It was sold to the city of Lancaster. Some of the people who are on the 7-Eleven committee are brokers with selling those properties. And now we're giving $1.9 million to the city of Lancaster. All of this doesn't make any sense, but I am so happy that the community is standing up. I'm so happy that the community is taking a deep lens. I heard people from Pepperdine, amazing law school, UCLA, amazing law school, Berkeley, amazing law school, Loyola. People are looking, and real reporters, not somebody from AV Press who's paid, are really zoning in and looking at how we're doing business in this district. I do not support this, and I don't think that this district is really giving any thought to it other than just doing business as usual. And those are my comments.
Ms. Wynn, if I may add for clarification, the contract with the Sheriff's Department does note 7 o'clock to 3 p.m. as the hours for the SROs. However, the next sentence, it does say each school district and station command may agree to adjust the normal start time for the SRDs to be within that school's timeframe. So we've already reached out. We will work with them. They will work with us to address our late start timeframe. In addition, over the years, we've had numerous conversations with the Palmdale Station, and they've had no conflict with us contracting with the Sheriff's Department of Lancaster.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments from the board? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Ms. Pearl, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
No.
Okay. Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
This one is an aye as well, and the motion passes by a vote of 4 yeses to 1 no. Item C, Memorandum of Understanding, PS number 2022-23-02, LA County to 22013-2224, LA County Office of Education for Mental Health and Wellness Services. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the Memorandum of Understanding with Los Angeles County Office of Education for Mental Health and Wellness Services. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady and a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion? Questions, concerns? Call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Ms. Wynn is a yes as well, and so the item passes by a vote of 5-0 in favor. Item D, service subscription with the Navigate 360, PS number 2022-23-03. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the attached service subscription agreement with Navigate 360, formerly ALICE, Ellis Training, as presented. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
All right, Ms. Perrell, I think I heard you first, so I'll say motion made by Ms. Perrell, second by Ms. McGrady. This is a name change from Alice to Navigate? Is that?
Yes,
Is that a
this is
Mr.?
the same
Okay.
organization, yes.
Thank you. Do we have any questions, concerns, discussion from the board? Okay, then having a motion and a second, we will now vote. Ms. Pearl, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and so the motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Item E, approval of agreement with Leadership Associates, PS number 2022-23-04. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve agreement with Leadership Associates and that Brett Neal is authorized to execute the agreement as presented. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Of a motion by Ms. McGrady and a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion, questions, concerns? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
No.
Pardon me? No?
No.
Okay, hold on just a second. Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and so the motion passes by a vote of four yeses to 1 no. Item F, approval of adjustment to the certificated substitute pay raise. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the adjustment to the certificated substitute pay raise as presented. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady and a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion, questions, concerns?
I received quite a few calls on this one, and I'm just wondering if we could kind of explain to the audience why we're doing this and what the advantage is to us.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Obviously, we want to be competitive with other districts within the Antelope Valley because the substitute pool is limited and many of the districts do share those substitutes. As you know, last year, many districts, ours included, had such a high need for substitute rates that we did raise them up quite a bit to attract substitutes. We are we will not see that great of a need because of the quarantining requirements being lifted. So we will not have to quarantine our staff as much or at all, at least currently, while going through COVID requirements and issues. We do want to keep, however, the daily rate for all of our schools, including Little Rock, higher than it was prior to COVID, which was $170 daily and $180 for Little Rock. So we want to keep those boosted up a little bit, dropped down a little bit from last year, but our long-term sub rates, because we know we're going to have staffing issues, we wanted to keep that at last year's level as well.
Thank you.
Any other discussion, question, concerns? Hearing none. I'm sorry, call for the vote. Ms. Pearl, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen is a yes as well. Motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Item G, approval of provisional internship permit. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent of Personnel Services to submit a provisional internship permit, allowing this individual to teach in the subject area indicated. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady and a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion, questions, concerns?
I just wanted to say thank you, Ms. Meehan, for letting me know that this individual, this is their first time in PIP status. And how long can they stay in the PIP status?
Dr. Ruffin, this is Brett Neal. PIP status allows for 1 calendar year. So whenever the PIP is authorized, they have 1 calendar year, different than a STIP, which is 1 school year.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion, questions, concerns? Call for the vote. Ms. Pearl, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin,
Yes.
Dr. Ruffin, how do you vote?
I said yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, did not hear you. Ms.
Okay.
McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well. Motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Item H through K are all STIPs, and if it pleases the board, we can put them all into one vote. Ms. McGrady, is that all right with you?
Absolutely.
Ms. Pearl?
I agree.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
And Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady, a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion, questions, concerns?
Yes. Thank you again, Mr. Needham, for getting back this information in regards to these individuals. According to his response, these individuals was a special education. No, sorry. These individuals are all new hires, and this is their first time as STIPs.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Dr. Ruffin, again, this is Brett Neal. These are, I believe all of them, I take that back. I believe there was 1 individual that was a PIP last year, but the rest are new hires.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay, I will call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well. And the motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Item L, approval of variable term waiver. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent of Personnel Services to submit a variable term waiver, allowing this individual to teach in the subject area indicated. May I have a motion?
Motion?
May I have a-
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady, a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion, questions, concerns? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well. And so the motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Item 10 is business services action items. And item A, we will open, conduct, and close a public hearing for increase of level 1 developer fees as presented by Key Analytics in April 27, 2022 developer fee justification study for level 1 fee. May I have a motion to get this on the, oh, I'm sorry, I don't need a motion. It's just going to open the hearing at 11:58. Comments from staff?
Yes, good morning, almost at the end of the good morning. The state of California, or more specifically, the State Allocation Board, sets the level 1 developer fees every year, just about the same time, starting in July. There are 3 levels of developer fees. There's level 1, level 2, and level 3. We currently are at level 2 fees. So we collect above and beyond what the level 1 fee is. But the state of California sets the level 1 fee, which all school districts must adopt. So this is more routine than it is we're increasing any charges at this time because we already are at level 2, so we collect at a higher rate. We'll be back in January like we were this previous January with a new developer fee study to verify that we're still able to charge level 2 fees, but that won't be until this next January. So this is just based off the state allocation board adjusting the base of developer fees. Developer fees are charged when a company or an individual pulls a building permit for either residential or commercial property. And there's different rates depending upon residential or commercial.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? We have a spot with comments from the public.
I don't have any comments on this item.
Okay.
No comments on this item.
Thank you. So then we will close the public hearing at 11:59. And then move on to item B, which is adoption of resolution number 2022-23-03 for increase of level 1 developer fees. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt resolution 2022-23-03 to increase the level 1 developer fee as presented by Key Analysis in the April 27, 2022 developer fee justification study. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady and a second by Ms. Perrell. Any questions, concerns, discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
No.
Okay. Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and so the motion passes by a vote of 4 yeses to 1 no. Item C is open, conduct, and close public hearing of to consider entering into energy service contract to implement energy-related improvements. The board is asked to conduct a public hearing with regard to an energy services contract with Pacific West Energy Solutions. I'm going to open the public hearing at 12:01. Do we have comments from staff?
Good afternoon. This is the 4th installment or phase 4 of the air conditioning replacements throughout the district that we're doing with Pacific West. This is the 4th and the final version of that. Once again, our project goals are to reduce the energy and operating costs and to counteract the rising, whether it be PG&E or Southern Cal Edison, that we all experience. The other goal is that we want to improve the air quality of the learning environment in all of our classrooms and our administrative buildings and libraries. We're able to put new air conditioning units up that will handle the MERV 13, will accommodate the MERV 13 filters, so we can filter the air to the best ability possible and to industry standards. We're looking at several of our systems are either at or past their useful life. And when they get to that level, they require a lot of maintenance. So our maintenance folks, our air conditioning maintenance folks, when it's 105 and the AC is not working, they're on the roof in the heat working on those. And by replacing these, we will reduce the amount of maintenance and mostly repair items and the costs for those. We'll additionally be able to enhance the use of, because we monitor meaning the thermostats, like in this room, are controlled from an energy management system. So we can manage the energy usage. So sometimes if you walk across a campus in the summertime, you may hear that the portable classrooms, the ACs are running and no one's in there. That's because we don't have the ability to control from a central point. So so this will allow us to control the air conditioning, turn them off at 6 o'clock in the evening when no one's there, turn them back on at 6 in the morning. So we're able to control that all the way through the district. In this, for phase 4, we've identified about 138 different energy sensors or the energy management system locations that we're going to be adding. And we're including with those what's called an integrated CO2 sensor, carbon monoxide sensor, that will be in the classroom as well, and we'll be monitoring the air quality from that perspective. We're looking at replacing in this phase units that are a packaged unit is defined as would be similar that would be at your house. So it's a single unit over a single classroom. Then we have some split systems. Those are mostly for some of the portables where we have tight fits and we can't get the normal air conditioning unit behind it. And then the wall mounted is a typical portable classroom. And then a multi-zone, that would be for a building like this. The air conditioning unit is quite large and it covers many different areas throughout the building. We happen to have 7 of them on the roof for our half when you look at 50,000 square feet. With that, we look at what the savings are because we have to have a savings overall. So we'll be looking at an annual savings each year of around $250,000. That includes the better efficiency of the units as well as the maintenance and repair of those items and the purchasing of those items. Overall, the lifetime, we look at a savings of over $9 million with the initial cost of 8.2. So we have these savings, and as a reminder, we're using the federal ESSER funds. These are not using any local district funds, but we're using the ESSER funds because they are allowed to be used to replace the air conditioning and enhance the air systems. I just wanted to take one last look to say, okay, we've been here and I'm now asking you to do phase 4. If we take a look at all 4 phases, we will have replaced over almost 775 air conditioning units throughout the district. That's virtually every classroom we have. And if you remember, we did totally replace Little Rock's classrooms about 3 years ago, and a couple other sites have been replaced throughout the last 5 years. So within the last 5 years, we will have replaced virtually every air conditioning unit we have in the system here. So overall, if you take all 4 of these phases, put them together, it's a little over $900,000 annually. We believe we will be saving by having the more efficient air conditioning units and the energy system management. So we're looking at savings from our electric bill, just under $1 million. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this.
Anybody have any questions?
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Any comments from the board? Comments from the public? And so then we'll close the meeting at 12:07. Or I mean, close the public hearing at 12:07. And then move on to item D, which is energy service contract determination and approval for air quality measures. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve a contract for energy services. So Pacific West Energy Solutions, and authorize Brian Hawkins, Assistant Superintendent, to execute the contract and documents on behalf of the district. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by General Grady, a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion? Hearing none, having excuse me, having a motion and a second, we'll now take the vote. Ms. Pearl, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin? I was a yes.
Yes.
I didn't quite get that, sorry. Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush? Vote?
Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you, John.
Okay, I can hear him now. Ms. Nguyen is a yes as well, and so our motion passes by a vote of 5-0. Item E, resolution number 2022-23-01, intend to grant an easement to Southern California Edison and call for a public hearing on said dedication. That the Board of Trustees adopt resolution number 2022-23-01 stating its intent to grant of an easement and right-of-way to Southern California Edison and to call a public hearing on August 17th, 2022 pursuant to the Education Code on that matter. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McGrady, a second by Ms. Pearl. Any discussion? Questions, concerns? Hearing none, call for the vote. Ms. Pearl?
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Rush?
Aye.
And Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, so the motion passes 5-0. Item 11, approval of the consent agenda. Approve items listed in the following consent agenda. Categories: educational services, student services, personnel services, business services, and administrative services. Do I have any, you know what, I should get this on the agenda first. I mean, get it on a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, Ms. McGrady made the motion and Ms. Perot seconded it. Do I have any discussion?
Yeah. Just making sure this is the 11A, right?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to pull for vote and discussion. 12F as in Frank.
Okay.
I would like to pull 12G for discussion.
Discussion only.
Yes. 13A for discussion only. And for a vote only, 15H. And it's item number 23-00528 AV legal fees.
Could you get that one more time, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could you say that one more time? The last one.
The 15H number.
Sure. For a separate vote is 15H as in Henry, and the number is 23-00528 AV legal fees.
And that's discussion and vote, right?
No, it's just a vote
Oh, just a vote.
for me.
Okay. Is there any others that you?
Ma'am, that's it.
Item 15A for me, just discussion only. Anybody else have any that they'd like to pull? Let's, we do have a couple of just discussion only, so we'll do those first and then take a vote. So item, oops. Item 12,
Are we voting on the whole agenda first and then get into these? Or are we just gonna do the discussions?
well, you had one discussion, I had one discussion only, so we might as well just go ahead and give our discussion and then we'll vote, and then we'll pull up the other ones that you had for vote only.
Okay, so I have two discussions. 12G is discussion and 13A is discussion.
Okay.
So 12G, if we're discussing 12G,
Yes.
this is in regards to the dual enrollment of our students in specific classes. Let me get my notes out from Mr. Meehan in regards to my question about that. Unless he, so, Mr. Meehan, the response that came back was that they're working on the specific sites for the current enrollment numbers. And, you know, I don't know if the Antelope Valley is aware, even though we are a part of LA County, there are many schools, community colleges within LA proper, and even as far out as the Valley, which is like 30 minutes down the 14, that offer dual enrollment for free for their high school students. So I would like for the school district to be able to provide this information to all of our schools and parents about how many students are eligible to enroll in these dual enrollment classes and what is that exact process for full transparency. So students who want to make up credit, students who want to get a AA degree. I know before when this discussion came up, there was only in the MOU with the Antelope Valley Community College an allotment of 100 students, which I will continue to advocate is amazing to me, because who's selecting those 100 students, and why isn't this an option of dual enrollment open for all of our students who are eligible to attend that school? So if we could provide that information to the board, to the parents, and to the students so they know how to access these classes, it would be greatly appreciated.
We can provide an update.
Okay, and you said you had another one you wanted. Pardon me.
Yeah, so that was 12G, and then 13A. 13A is looking at student services, the alternative representation for the SELPA. When I was reading through that, I was really happy to see that the parent, Diana Padilla, is appointed to that committee for support. So I just wanted to say thank you for being consistent with supporting her and having a voice to be able to represent parents in that space.
And then I had a discussion only 15A, and that's business services donations. And I always want to make sure that our community understands how much we appreciate their donations and their concerns for a good educational foundation for our students. Yeah, thank them. Thank people very much. If there, the other two that you have, Dr. Ruffin, are voting, so we will go ahead and vote on the entire consent agenda minus item 12F and 15H. Yes. May I have a motion? I mean, how do you vote? Hold on just a second. Ms. Pearl.
Aye.
Okay, Dr. Ruffin.
Yes.
Mr. McGrady.
Aye.
Mr. Rush.
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, so the motion passes by a vote of 5-0. I would need a motion to vote on the first one is 12F.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a motion by, I'm sorry. I have a motion by Dr. Ruffin and a second by Ms. Perrell. Any discussion?
Yes, Ms. Nguyen, there is discussion. So I actually asked this question of Mr. Meehan too. Let me get out what his response was. I don't have it verbatimly because I have all these papers in front of me. He said that, hold on one second. Okay. He said that this plan is presented for review and approval of the board. It has not been our practice to do a presentation in the past years. So my question to him was, why wasn't the Educational Services Annual Title I LEA plan for program evaluations something that was presented to the entire board? And as long as I've been in education for 22 years, many districts, or most districts, rate their performance or the ways in which they're going to provide interventions based off of this evaluation. I'm not sure if the board members had an opportunity to look at this, but it's really critical when we're talking about CTSI schools who are the areas that were in the red: mathematics, English, suspension rates, graduation rates. It gives a very thorough depiction of where we stand as a school in what areas. Some of them are denoted as areas of yellow, green, orange, red, which highlights the areas that we need improvement in. And the reason why I would like a presentation on this is because when I'm looking at this, like for example, on page 17, when it's talking about African American students and it has suspension rates, it has African American students in orange. And based off of the information that we've heard today and the data that's out there, and this is a compilation of information from 2019, 2020, it's just very detailed. I just want to know why this data doesn't align with like what the rest of the community and the different reporting agencies are seeing. So if we could have this or figure out how to put it on the agenda, Mr. Meehan, for a thorough presentation for the board and the community, it would be appreciated.
Noted.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
No.
You know what, I'm sorry. I want to make sure that I read it as well. So this is a vote on item F, Educational Services Annual Title II or Title I LEA Plan Program Evaluation. And Ms. Perrell, you were an aye. Dr. Ruffin, you said no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Aye.
And then Ms. McGrady is an aye. Mr. Rush?
Aye.
Okay, and Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and so the motion passes by a vote of 4 yeses to 1 no. Item 15H, I would need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Dr. Ruffin and a second by Ms. Perrell. Discussion?
No discussion. I just wanted to vote.
Okay. Anyone else have any discussion?
Trying to find it. Give me a minute, please.
Oh, sure.
I'm not sure what it is we're voting on.
It's the AV legal fees, Ms. McGrady.
It has to do with the Antelope Valley Press, where we have had to pay for the notice for the level 1 developer fee. If you remember, we had that open and closed public hearing. We have to notify the public that we're having that, more than just what the board agenda does, but we have to notify the public by virtue of a local newspaper. That's what this ad is for.
So we are required to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we are required to do it. And thank you, Mr. Hawkins, for that acknowledgement, but we are not required to go with this specific agency. Thank you.
That is correct, but they are the only local newspaper with broad distribution within our district boundaries. So we don't
And
have.
so you're saying
they're
that
the
AV,
only
you're
one
saying that, I'm sorry, you're saying that AV Times doesn't have the broad capacity to deliver?
They don't have a publication that is broadly based throughout our district.
Okay.
It may be in online, but it is not in newsprint, and that is what the Attorney General's ruling was.
Okay, could you share that ruling? Because I've been hearing that narrative for like the past 3 years, but I've never been able to find it in writing. I would love to see that. Thank you.
I think we have, and I will be happy to do that again.
Other discussion, questions, concerns? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. Ms. Pearl, how do you vote?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
No.
Okay, Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Ms. Rush?
Aye.
Ms. Nguyen is an aye as well, and so the motion passes by a vote of 5 yes to 1 no. And we will go on and to our agenda item.
We are.
Really? Wow. Okay. From comments from the board and Superintendent, Ms. Pearl?
I just wanted to thank everyone. I know summer school started and the new school year is about to start. So thank everyone for all the hard work that they're doing and enjoy the rest of your summer. At least that you can. At least for our teachers and whatnot.
Thank you. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes, thank you. There was a comment that you made earlier, Ms. Nguyen, about something in the context. I'm not repeating it back verbatim, but something about the 3 minutes to speak as a board, and you said it was something about something that we have to deal with as a district. The reality is we don't have to deal with that. We are choosing to. The board has the rights and the power to influence policy and to shift these policies at the will of the people if it is the will of the people. I just want to be mindful of how we put things out there as if there are a definite and it actually is not. For instance, when the decision was made to hold board meetings that would accommodate the community because it was a time where parents were present, that was an issue, but it was an issue to address a parent concern, right? When I look at, I love being out here in the community and getting a chance to talk to the people in my community and the constituents here, and all of the concerns that come up about our district and them listening in to these meetings and having comments. It's very refreshing to really know that people do care. And I want to say thank you to people who are coming out to board meetings in the Antelope Valley across the country to voice their concerns about our most prized possession, which is our students. If you don't do anything, get out there and vote or come to these board meetings and express your opinion. I do believe that Ms. Calderon and Ms. Hernandez said that they had a hard time finding the location today. That's why their information was pushed back for Pinto Thompson. Thank you, Ms. Nguyen, for allowing them an opportunity to express their concerns. But I do hope that more of the community comes out because it is our responsibility. I've heard several times people say this is for the board, but it's what the board is doing to promote the wellness and the academic success of our students. We do not own the school district. It is our responsibility to make decisions, and it should be decisions that represent all of the students and not just some of the students. So I'm hopeful that moving into the next school year, we'll have more progress and success. And I also want to hold this board accountable. I want to hold this board accountable to having Mr. Nehan be accountable to some kind of plan. I didn't hear a 30-day. I didn't hear 60-day. I didn't hear what is he been doing for the first 90 days. I know when we originally met, he said he was going to continue the status quo. I get it, but can we have some transparency and really look at these issues from the community that are coming out? I heard that he said he was going to go out to the districts and community. Can we do some town halls? Can we have some live conversations? And if those two parents who came out today want to meet with me, I am more than willing. The problem is that I don't want them to be harassed when they come out and meet with me by other teachers and questioning them about their concerns, which did happen in February of 2020 when a parent came to meet with me about a school issue, and they were gravely harassed by teachers within the district. So I'm hoping that we can come to some type of global understanding, some type of vision and mission for this district that is not consistent with what has been, and that we can work together with parents and the community to push this district in the direction that we know it can be. As great as we are as Palmdale and Lancaster, we can make sure that our kids are getting a top education.
Ms. McGrady.
Just a quick congratulations to the Palmdale High School solar car competition. Thank you for representing us in such a wonderful way. And to all of our employees, our staff, our students and families, enjoy these last few weeks before we start up again. Thank you.
Mr. Rush.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Mr. Nehan.
I just want to say thank you to the members of the public and our students who came out to express their beliefs and share with the board their feelings today. It is only through working together that we make the district better. So thank you.
Okay, I just have a couple of things. The solar car team, how exciting, how wonderful for them. I know there's been several comments already made about this Palmdale High School solar car team, but I wanted to take special note of one person in particular, and I was just going real quickly through Randy Scott. Mr. Scott came to the district as a volunteer, I believe, while he was still an engineer for one of the local companies. And even after retirement, he attends their meetings. He's done so many things for the high school district. He's on several committees as well. Always a positive gentleman. He follows the team all the way to Texas, and he provides breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the team and those that are traveling with the team. Takes his motorhome and makes sure that the students have what they need to be successful. Mr. Scott is just an amazing person, and I've known him for just a little while, actually, in the scheme of things, but he's just one very generous, giving individual. I also noticed that Eastside High School is in the news as well with their biomedical program, and it's always nice to see our students on the front page, any page actually, in positive news reports about the things that they're doing. I'm so glad that the community gets to see the different wonderful things that our kids are doing. Just one comment. At another board meeting, I offered to meet with anybody who had concerns or questions or would like an explanation of different reasons why the board does or doesn't do things. I have received not one single call or request to meet. I'm extending it again, and I know that sometimes the public has, even concerns about my actions. I'm more than willing to go ahead and discuss it with them. Moving on with our agenda to closed session. And hold on, what did I do? Oh, here it is. Due to the fact that there was not a quorum of board members in closed session, the board took no action. on any of the items. So then, that was a short report. We move on to the end of the meeting. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
I believe this time I think I heard Ms. McGrady first, then Ms. Burrell second. Discussion, just one thing. I want to thank our security back there in the back of the room. Thank you for attending, and I know this has been a long summer, and I appreciate your attendance. Staff, everybody, thank you so much. You stuck with us during this meeting, and you always do. And I want you to know how much I appreciate it. And thank you, Mr. Nehan. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Mr. Allen. And thank you, Cabinet. We have a full cabinet. It's so exciting. You guys are kind of crammed in there, though. But anyway, come on over here. No. So how do you vote, Ms. Burrell?
Aye.
All right. And Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. McGrady?
Aye.
Mr. Rush? Did somebody hear him? He's gone. Ms. Wynn is an aye as well. And so the motion passes at least by a vote of 4-2-1. And we are out of here. Turn off your mic. The meeting in memory of Michael Young. Oh my gosh. I'm hesitating because I don't want to cry. Mr. Young was always a pleasant person to run into, always positive. Whenever I saw him in the 13 and a half years when I was on the board previously, he will be dearly missed, and we are closing this meeting today in his memory. Thank you.